The Thunder once again struck gold in this recent draft, drafting Ajay Mitchell, as he has been getting a ton of comparisons lately to New York Knicks superstar Jaylen Brunson. As the comparisons I kind of see, but once again, it was stated in an article as well, it is very early to go ahead and start comparing him to someone of Jaylen Brunson's prowess and capabilities and his play style, as he is one of the best players in the league at the moment. So it's unfair to say that that's his ceiling or that's who he plays like, that's who he can potentially be. But I get the similarities to a point. So we're going to break down two articles that I saw talking about Ajay Mitchell, how they once again struck gold with him, how he can find himself getting playing time this year in this certain situation, circumstances that is going on with the Oklahoma City Thunder at the moment, along with why it was such a great draft pick and why these comparisons to Jalen Brunson are evident at the moment. Before we get all that, though, I just want to take a quick moment and, just kind of put out there, if you guys find yourself staying and watching these whole videos all the way through the end, or if you're new to the channel and you enjoy what we're doing here, go ahead, hit that subscribe button. It's the best way to support the channel. With that out of the way, we can go ahead and get into the topic at hand, talking about Ajay Mitchell, who was I don't want to say surprise draft pick, but I think it was surprising that we traded all the way up just to go get him, because I do feel like he would have dropped to us later in that second round. I do feel like he was a guy that a lot of people weren't looking at. Even when he was drafted, yes, they said it was a good pick. However, it was also talked about how he could have fallen back to us, however, wherever we were originally slated. So it's definitely interesting to see, is it going to be worth it trading away some assets? Now, I know they're only like second round picks, and Lindy Waters III, who wasn't getting a lot of time or development with us in the organization, and with the Warriors, he could get a decent amount of time playing for them as well. And so it's a win-win scenario for him and then also the Thunder as well, as we got Ajay Mitchell in return when you look at it down the stretch. Now, in the recent article by Ryan Stiles here talking about him, it will be difficult for the Thunder to manage the workload of every player with a roster so rich with talent from top to bottom, even with an open roster spot and Nikola Topic taking a redshirt year. But training camp is set to give a heavy indication of how the rotation will shake out for Mark Daigneault's squad. Oklahoma City is hoping to capture lightning in a bottle again, striking gold as they have before with their two-way contract slots. As the Thunder lean on their coaching staff and the strength of their G League affiliate, it adds up to the perfect environment for the second-round pick, Ajay Mitchell. From a Draft Digest Keenan Womack scouting report on Mitchell, averaging over 20 points per game on the season, Mitchell is a heliocentric star with a usage rate north of 30%. He also shoots 51% from the field, which for a guard is incredibly efficient. In addition to scoring prowess, Mitchell is an excellent facilitator. Against UC Davis, Mitchell had no points through the first 6 minutes, but significantly impacted that stretch of the game by recording 4 assists. So as you can see there, if he isn't able to score, if they're locking down his scoring ability in a game, whoever he's playing against, he can rely on his playmaking, and he's comfortable and confident in his teammates to get them the ball and know they will hit down shots if he gets them the ball in certain situations. As you can see that there in those 4 assists in the first 6 minutes of that game against UC Davis. So he's confident in his ability as a scorer, as he was scoring 20 points a game, shooting over 50% from the field, which is great for a guard. And we know here at Thunder Digest, I love my guys that are efficient and shooting the ball. And also the Thunder, they love that as well. Guys that are constantly knocking down their shots, shooting north of 45% from the field. They love those kinds of guys. And so Mitchell fits right in with what the Thunder are trying to build. His playmaking abilities are also off the charts, as it was mentioned. He is an underrated playmaker, and it wasn't really shown off in college all that much, or even in the summer league. Now, he had one game where I think he had double-digit assists as well. He had a double-double. But I just feel like it's not talked about enough when you're looking at his kind of player profile, what he does from a basketball standpoint. He is a great facilitator, great playmaker that can easily fill in those roles and shoes that Josh Giddey is now leaving behind since we traded him away. But that's also why we drafted Topic, who is also a great playmaker as well. So it's interesting to see what will happen when Topic comes back as well. Now with the comparisons to Jaylen Brunson. I'll go ahead and get into that right here now. It's also from another article over on Draft Digest on Sports Illustrated. This is what I had to say. Jaylen Brunson was one of the best players in the NBA last year, arguably a top 10 player. After averaging 28.7 points and 6.7 assists and finishing 5th in MVP voting during the regular season, he averaged 32.4 points and 7.5 assists during the playoffs. He finished 6th in estimated plus minus and 8th in box plus minus. By all of counts production, he was a top offensive engine. Comparing any young prospect to him would be a dangerous game. This is where they get into it. But that's exactly what P3 Sports Science Models reveals, as AJ Mitchell's physical systems most closely match that of Jaylen Brunson's. To clarify, their model does not account for on-court production whatsoever. The goal of the model and P3 goals altogether is to measure strictly biomechanical performance and map similarities to the 800 plus other NBA players in their database in order to optimize development and maximize potential. So yes, before we get into the second part of the article, I know that's not talking about the stats at all when they're comparing them, just based off of size, how they move around, and whatsoever. But it does make sense when you look into it here. Boom. Brunson is one of the best touch players in the world. He shot 53.7% on floaters, 45.8% on mid-range jump shots, and 38.8% on three-point attempts. In his junior year at UC Santa Barbara last year, Mitchell shot 55.3% on floaters, 38.1% on mid-range jump shots. I'd like to see that get up there, but 38.8% on three-point attempts also. Same value as Jalen Brunson right there. While there's a major discrepancy in terms of volume and competition, which is what makes Brunson tiers better in terms of touch, Mitchell possesses some really good touch of his own. 42.7 on 131 non-rim twos and 44.8% on 58 catch-and-shoot threes in a single season is very impressive for a prospect. Given their movement similarities and even somewhat comparable touch, Mitchell has a decent shot at recreating Brunson's creation style on a lower scale at some point. Now, keyword is what they're saying here. Lower scale. They're not saying he's going to live up to this hype that Jalen Brunson has of being a top 10 player in the NBA. That's not what they're saying. But from a bench perspective, they're saying he can put up very similar types of numbers and performances and statistics as Jalen Brunson does. And I hate the advanced statistics and metrics. I really do, especially looking at that, because what I think is you can figure all that out just by watching someone play. If you watch the games and actually see how they play, you can figure all this out as well. But the advanced statistics, they do help out AJ Mitchell in this case right here, so I'll play along with it. But I feel like if you watch during the Summer League, you could kind of see that when AJ Mitchell was in the starting lineup and playing for the Oklahoma City Thunder out in Vegas. It was just very similar to how he plays. He's aggressive, attacking the rim. His floater game is really nice, and his playmaking is very underrated, just like Jalen Brunson's. All right, Jalen Brunson is a very underrated playmaker as well, and so I see the similarities. I truly do. I see them. It's just I feel like this is something that you could have seen if you actually watched him play, and maybe there's a better comparison out there, which is what I kind of want you guys to tell me, as we're wrapping up this video here, because that's really all I got now. That's all I got. So let me know down in the comment section below who you guys think AJ Mitchell would be better compared to than Jalen Brunson, or do you think that's a very accurate comparison to how his play style is? Not what his ceiling is, not what his ceiling or floor is, but his play style, how he acts and moves on the court. Is it very similar to Brunson, or is there someone else that you have in mind? Let me know down in the comment section below, and I'll see you guys in the next video.